Yo, what's good with you guys? Appreciate you guys pulling up today. So we're gonna be getting into shipping templates for this video. So I know it sounds boring, but just trust me, guys. This is one of those little things that'll quietly save you money and keeps you from shooting yourself in the foot. And in my opinion, this is one of the most important factors when it comes to arbitrage, especially FBM. This is obviously for FBM. It's if you want to win buy box over people. Like I've won buy box so many times over people who have been even more competitively priced because my shipping template was dialed in. So let's get into it. I just want to clear some things up first because this is the part that everybody gets wrong. This is not about charging people different prices for shipping. Standard shipping is always going to be free, okay? So the only thing we ever charge for is if they're expediting, if a customer wants to be like expedited or next day shipping. The point of this is to make sure that there are different zones. For example, if my standard shipping is set to promise in 1 to 2 day delivery for all the states in the US, there's no way I'm getting it to Maine if I live in, South California, because that's all the way across the country. And if I have 1 to 2 day shipping for standard, it's not getting up there in 1 to 2 days. So, we gotta make sure that we have the zones dialed in and that we have estimated deliveries for different sections of the United States. That's basically what I was gonna get into. So, how zones work. Zones are how USPS measures distance from where you ship. The farther the buyer, the more it costs to get the package there, or the longer it takes. So to set realistic expectations, you got to understand these zones. So zone 1 is basically going to be right by you, gets there quick. Zone 8 is all the way across the country, which can take way longer. So for example, like I mentioned, I live in Texas, so if I'm shipping to someone in Alaska, it's going to take a while to get there. So I got to make sure that I'm telling the people in Alaska that it's going to take 5 to 8 days to get there, instead of if I was shipping to a fellow Texan, I would just tell them to get there in 1 to 2 days. So real quick, 4 steps on how to get this set up. So step 1, pull up the pirate ship map. I put it in the last thing. There is a link in the description of the video for you guys to look at. Just USPS.com, pirate ship, whatever, pirate ship map. And it'll pull up the map right here so it shows. And then you'll put in your zip code right here. And then that'll get you your location on the map. And plug it into the zip I gave you. So what we're going to do is we're going to group those zones into 3 regions. So, and I'll show you that on the next slide. And then step 4 is going to be the big one. You're going to swap in your zip code because your zip codes are differently. So I think I had an example of like my zip code, but just make sure yours is in there. So all you're really going to want to do is region 1 is going to be zones 1 through 4. Region 2 is zones 5 through 6. And then region 3 is zones 7 through 8. So you're going to put in your zip code in here. And if my zip code was up here, zones 1 through 4, I would have all of the surrounding states, and I would just write them in a doc. So like I could just put like zones 1 through 4, and then you look up a map of the United States on Google, and then put in all the states in there. And then zones 5 through 6, you're gonna put in another, and then zones 7 through 8, you're gonna put in there as well. So just a good way to get them all organized, so that way whenever we do move into going into Amazon and setting up the shipping template, you have all of your states organized into a like better place, so that way you're not having to like guess where the states are and stuff like that. Like just look it up or use AI, ask AI to help you out. So this is a common question I get all the time, like instead of messing with all 8 zones like one by one, I mean, in my opinion, like what do we do when a state has says zones 3, 4, and 5 in it? If you have a state that's like zones 3, 4, and 5, and you're supposed to group 1 through 4, 5 through 6, just default to the furthest zone to be safe, so you're not getting hurt on prices. It's always better to be safe and lose a sale on that rather than getting destroyed in your profit. You know what I mean? So next one, this is going to be how you get to setting up your shipping template. So Amazon.com, Amazon Seller Central. You're going to go to Seller Central, hover over the settings icon, and then move your mouse down. It'll say shipping settings, I believe, and then it will pop up your template. You're going to click edit, and that'll bring you to what looks like this. This is pretty much what your standard template's going to look like. Amazon has a default one turned off your location, but in my opinion, it's dookie bunions. It's so bad. So if we actually look at this template to peep this, so the top one's free economy. The shipping is 0, obviously, because it's free. And then standard down here, mainland. This is what I'm telling you. We're not charging for this stuff. So the only thing that's different between these regions is the delivery time estimate. So see it. So closer to the regions, it's 2 to 4 days. The further ones get 5 to 8 days, and then same free shipping. We're just being honest about how long it takes to get there so that we can make it more cheap and then get there. You can also add if you want to do some of the like outside states like Guam, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, blah, 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 stuff like that. You just want to make sure you're charging because you're going to have to pay for the whatever the importing fees, whatever it's called like that. Next is going to be the expedited 2-day. So this one is where we actually charge. So expedited in 2-day is if somebody wants it fast, they'll just pay for it. Simple as that. It's the only time money changes hands-on shipping in 2-day. And 2-day, see the SSA tag. That's what helps you get those fast badges that Amazon loves, which helps you win the buy box as well. So for these, pretty much when you expedite shipping, it's going to take 1 to 2 days for the entire United States, because if it's getting on a plane or it's expedited, it doesn't really matter how long it takes. It gets put in different trucks, different planes, like completely different stuff than normal ground shipping. So pretty much takes the same distance to get anywhere across the United States, unless like Hawaii and Alaska, because those are way out of there. And you pretty much can charge the same rate all around, and you're going to be fine. 2-day delivery is basically a little bit faster than expedited shipping. Expedited is anywhere between 2 to 4 days, and then 2 days guaranteed 2 days. So this one you will have to kind of group by region. So it will take the same time, but it will cost you more. So these will be more of your zones 1 through 2, and then for zones 3 through 8, you can throw in here in a separate tab to help you out right there. So the next one and the final section is going to be the fastest stuff. So 1 day, next day air shipping. You're going to check this. It's $74.99 plus $5 per pound. So somebody's going to ask why the per pound is so high. I've had some people ask me that. The next day air service, they charge you way more for the weight rather than the size, because it's going on a plane. So we bumped the per pound up because when it comes to planes, they go based off the rate, because if you have a really heavy object in a plane, you can only get so many heavy objects versus, big stuff. Like those cargo planes are massive, but they mainly rely on weight rather than dimensions, because a plane can't fly with a bunch of dumbbells in it versus a bunch of feathers in it, you know what I mean? So, we bump that per pound up so that we're covered. And then the international down here as well, we just keep it simple. Canada and Mexico are priced higher because it's going to be crossing the border, and it takes a while. So, $10 per pound and $99.99 per order. And you're going to do the 10 to 20 days, like I said, because those take forever. And then the behind the scenes piece that will tie it together, I think this is definitely one of the more important parts of Amazon right here. It's a little blurry, but this is going to be the SSA shipping settings automation. This is by far one of the most important parts, and you need to have this third option right here checked off to win the buy box. So whatever carries you, check here. So Amazon uses this to calculate the delivery promise. So it's not a check. Everything and move on deal, only check what you can ship with, or if you can promise stuff that you can't hit. So this is how I set up mine right here. So I keep my ground and economy as the backbone, USPS for small stuff and light stuff, and then UPS and FedEx for the bigger packages. But I also keep a few fast lanes checked, like second day and then next day. And then here's why, obviously, because you don't have any options checked for if someone orders overnight or a second day and you don't have any of these checked, then you can't guarantee delivery, and Amazon's going to default to ground. So you're kind of cooked on that. So you want to focus more on ground shipping, and then have a couple options for the expedited second day air, overnight, blah, 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 stuff like that. But this, in my opinion, has helped me destroy the buy box. I'm kind of yapping a lot, but just copy this and I guarantee you will be good. You could literally have $1 or $2 higher over people, and you'll still be getting sales because of this right here, because the shipping and everything just can't compete. Like if I'm $1 or $2 more, and someone from Texas wants to order the same product, and there's a person in Florida and they're selling the same thing as me for $2 cheaper, Amazon's going to show the person in Texas next to me the buy box for me, because my delivery date and my shipping template is just so dialed. So that's pretty much the whole thing. Not anything crazy. Once you build this off on your own, zip code, you're done. Just runs in the background, keeps your delivery dates honest, so that you're never really forced to expedite and lose money. So I just say go set up yours this week. If you get stuck anywhere, you can drop it in the chat or hit me up on Instagram. My Instagram's in the link below. So I'm always open to helping people out. Appreciate y'all pulling up though. Keep stacking, crew. Let me know if I need anything in the Discord, and we'll talk to you boys later. Peace.